Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids. This is Amit and this is the Ford Figo Titanium Blue, the diesel variant, and I absolutely love it, and that's why I'm doing this different fanboyish kind of a video. So full disclaimer right at the outset, this is a video made with a lot of love. I love this car and you need to watch this video as an enthusiast, someone who appreciates this car, and I just love this car, and that's the whole reason I am making this video. So enjoy the happenings and don't try to nitpick, because I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritties in this specific video. I'm just going to let you know what makes this car so special in the small hatchback segment and why this is one of the nicest cars to drive for a specific budget. Let me get done with a few things that I don't like about this car, and those would be: A, there are no projectors here, there is no LED element, and that's something that should have been taken care of, but hey, who's complaining? Because the real thing that matters is right underneath this bonnet, and I'm going to come to that in a bit. But apart from that, a few things: this all black grille that Ford likes calling cellular grille is there on the Titanium Blue variant, plus you have this blue accent to well underline the blue tag that Ford has given it. You also get these 15-inch alloys shot with Apollo Elnac 195 section rubber. The grip from these is pretty good. I'm not a big fan of this black accent here. Could have been a little better, could have been a little bit more sporty. And if you look at the car from all the angles, you'd realize that this is not something which is too funky. This is still very traditional, very well proportionate, very organic, but it doesn't quite have those flashy creases and cuts that some of the other cars in the hatchback and sedan segments have these days. I really love the treatment that Ford have given to the roof. It's all black, and if you look at it from the top, it looks like it's got a big panoramic sunroof. It's not. However, there is this other thing that I wanted to point out, is that in the tail lamps also you don't have any LED elements. So Ford have saved money and put it in the right places. There's this small thing that I wanted to tell you before we got inside the car, and that's the boot. It's 257 liters of boot space here, and that's not class leading, so that's another small gripe that some of you may have. So let's get behind the steering wheel of this car, but before that, I think I do well to sit in the back seat as well, because I'm not going to sit here again. So the space here is pretty good. You have these two adjustable headrests, which is a good thing, no armrest, but I like what Ford have done with these blue accents here. It just lifts the quality and the appearance of the interior just that bit. The quality of materials inside is all very good. There is absolutely nothing to complain about. There are no fancy elements, there are no fancy textures, but everything is very well laid out. That instrument console there could have had a more fancy representation, but apart from that, I don't see any problems with the interior. In fact, this is one of the most feature-rich cars that you have. You can get as many as 6 airbags on the Titanium Blue variant, and you also have an automatic with 1.5 liter petrol. So before we move any further, let's get done with the engine options also. And let me just open the bonnet to show you the engine. And here it is. The 1.5 liter diesel TDCi that I love so much. It produces 99 HP of power and 215 Newton meters of torque. You also have a 1.2 liter petrol, the Dragon series. That's also a class leading engine in terms of power. You get 95 HP of power there and 115 Newton meters of torque. And you also have another 1.5 liter petrol, which produces 121 HP and 150 Newton meters of torque. It's available with an automatic transmission. So all the engine options on this car are quite impressive, and it's time now to get behind that sweet steering wheel of the Ford Figo that I love so much. Let's get going with this. Alright then, it's time to give this baby the beans, and what we're going to do is we are going to first turn the AC off and we are going to build some revs. Let the traffic pass so that we have no obstruction whatsoever, and we're good to go. And we are past 100. That was quick. That's really quick for a car that size, and that's what I really love this baby for. It's really quick. Despite being a diesel, it's really quick. That torque really comes into play, and that wheel spin that you would have heard when we were starting off must have set the hearts racing of the enthusiasts amongst you. This is just a beautiful car to drive. There's just tons and tons of torque right there. It's got the most amount of torque for the kind of price that it commands. 215 Newton meters of torque, and that power of 99 HP also is class leading if you really compare it with its immediate rivals, especially for the price bracket. So that was about the 0 to 100 sprint, but let's also see what this car is capable of in each gear. So the first gear is going to get you to 50 kilometers per hour. The second one, let's see, will take you past 80 and very close to 90, but not exactly 90. And the third gear, I believe it's slightly tall, and let's see what it does. It's taking the corner very reassuringly. Very good handling for a car this class. Whoops, I had to lift off there. Woohoo! About 140 kilometers per hour in the third gear, and boy, does this car really surge forward in the mid revs. This really has a ton of torque for that size. I don't really think it would be prudent to take this car to its top speed in fourth gear on these roads because there is a lot of traffic, so we are going to stop at that. About the engine characteristic, well, at 1000 RPM there is not much. Response from the engine is not all that great, but it has a ton of torque, so it still keeps rolling even on an incline. So if you're climbing a flyover and you're still at 1000 RPM without giving any throttle, the car is still going to climb it. And the progress on the tacho is rather slow at that level. Response from the engine, as I mentioned, is not all that great, but once you start reaching 1500 RPM, you see the turbo spooling up and you feel the distinctive surge of torque. At 2000 RPM, it's spooled up properly, and all the way to 4000 RPM, there is a ton of torque available, and every gear you're going to feel it, and it's such a joy to drive on the highway. There is just a ton of torque. 215 Newton meters of torque is a lot of torque for this size of a car, and that's exactly why I love the Figo diesel so much. The power output also is class leading for the price, and 99 HP of power. That's 100 PS more than that, I think, is a lot of power for a car which is so small and so light, and that really translates into very quick acceleration, very strong in-gear acceleration, and as I mentioned, speeds which are very uncharacteristic of a car this size. This is really a joy to drive. What really complements that is the fact that it's a Ford, it's built to be driven, and why I really believe that the suspension is not as low or as stiff as the S, but this suspension is a perfect blend between good ride quality and decent handling. Just look at that view from here. Isn't that beautiful? You can see a vast expanse of jungles, mountains, and there is not even a single piece of construction on those mountains. It just looks beautiful. Especially in the rains, it's very beautiful. It's all lush green. There are waterfalls, there are small rivulets, big rivers, and it's a joy to visit this place. The ride is very slightly on the softer side, only from an enthusiast's perspective. It's very beautifully balanced, mind you, from a practical perspective. Very good handler, yet very absorbent. But when you push it hard around corners, obviously being an everyday small car, there is just that little bit of firmness to be desired. And that steering also is pretty good, although I could have done with a little bit more heaviness in the steering also. But mind you, for this segment, this is absolutely brilliant. I just love the way this car handles, man. This is absolutely amazing. Alright, so we have hit Kasara Ghat, and the good news is that there's no traffic here. It's a sort of a private racetrack for me right now, and it's just beautiful. Just look at this car handle, man. This is just beautiful. And the good thing about the torque is that since there is such a wide spread of torque, you can just keep it in third and it'll handle most of the situations that you have. Daily commute, on the highway, on these uphill ghats like these, it's just brilliant. This car, the third gear is just too wide and can handle a lot of situations. Now while this is quite a punchy car, this is still a diesel, and that means that the fuel efficiency from this car is also very good. AIR certified 25.5 kmpl, which is actually very good, one of the best in class. And as I measured it, within the city you will be easily able to get 15 kilometers to the liter on the highway, 20 plus if you drive with a light right foot, and that's a very good fuel efficiency for a car which is as sprightly, as punchy, and as much fun to drive as the Ford Figo. Alright, so in conclusion, what do I have to say? Well, in conclusion, I have to say that if you want to buy a well-priced, economical diesel hatchback that goes like the stink and doesn't make you break the bank, this is the car that you should be buying if you're an enthusiast, and if you are on a budget, if you want a car that is not heavy on the pocket and that really goes very fast, gives you a lot of entertainment, this car is the one that you should be going for. There is just no two ways about it. Well, there are a few things that are not too great about it, and those are really very small things. As I mentioned, the headlamps could have been fancier, there could have been a cooled glove box, there could have been Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but that screen by itself is very rich. That audio system works very well, and it has navigation as well. It comes with 6 airbags, so it's very safe for you, and it's priced very well. So if you look at it, you'll find that at the base variant, the price of the Ford Figo starts from 7.1 lakh rupees and goes all the way to 8.7 lakh rupees. However, if you compare it with the Swift, the base variant there is slightly cheaper. It starts at 6.7 lakh rupees, saving you about 40,000 rupees on the road daily. And if you look at the top end variant, you actually end up paying about 80 to 90,000 rupees extra on the Swift. Yes, you heard it right, because there you'll have to pay 9.6 lakh rupees on the road, which is about 80 to 90,000 rupees more than this Titanium Blue variant. So in my opinion, if you're someone who really wants to drive his car fast, wants handling, wants performance, wants fuel efficiency, all of that in a fantastic package, I think this car in the top end variant makes a lot of sense. I love this car, and it has my recommendation for you. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and drive safe.